Hello, gorgeous ones. How are you? It's been a few days since I have seen you, and I've missed you, ladies. But I wanted to say that I just had a wonderful experience where I went and had some energy work done on myself. And I have to tell you, if you haven't done that, then you owe it to yourself to do that. So I wanted to take a moment to share with you, the events that led up to that, and then also what has happened since having that. So first of all, if I look a little darker, which I feel that I do, I just want to let you know I have been out walking every day, and I've been doing that pretty much with all of COVID going on. But the last few days we've had intense sunlight, and I have been out in the sun, and we're doing miles, like 6 miles, 8 miles walking. So it's been taking its toll on me, on my skin. I can see that now as I'm doing this video. So, but I'm happy about it because I love sunlight. So I'm getting my vitamin D. Plus, I'm using oils on my skin as well. But but I wanted to share with you what happened and why I actually went and got some energy work, and also what has happened since then. Walking is good. Thank you for that. So it says Facebook user. I don't know who you are, so tell me your name. Thanks for joining me. Um, but I got to tell you, so what happened that led me to doing that was I reached a point where I felt like I was a bit overwhelmed. And I'm not overwhelmed, or I wasn't overwhelmed because of my workload, because I've intentionally built my life where I'm not in overwork. Okay. But what happened was I felt like I was like inwardly running, even though I was physically outside still. Does that make any sense? Like I felt like I was churning and churning and churning inside, but it was reminiscent to when I was working in corporate full time, and I was going and going and going, and I burnt myself out, and I didn't see the signs of it because at that time my belief was the grind was good. If it's to be, it's up to me. I had to hustle, had to work hard. And I don't necessarily believe that now. Hey, Cindy. Hey. So thanks for sharing. I don't understand D and energy. What does that mean? Um, anyway, so I felt that way again, and it brought me to tears, to be honest with you, because I felt like all these thoughts were coming up. I wrote about it, I think it was on Monday, or Sunday, where I had such a tough time with Mother's Day in my mind, like this overwhelming sense of not feeling valued, not feeling like I had done enough, not feeling like I'm enough. But I know in theory, right? I know in theory that none of that's true, but somehow inside my body, there was this memory that I wasn't enough. And it started to overwhelm me where I felt like I was running like a marathon on the inside. And it's hard for me to explain and put into words what that feels like. But the best way I can say it, it's like I'm sitting here looking at you, talking to you, but on the inside, I'm feeling like it's not enough. It's not enough. I got to keep going, got to keep going, got to keep going. And I don't believe that's true, nor do I want to create a life that endorses that, right? So it brought me to tears because I started to cry because it felt like, when you start to believe these things, like after a while, the thoughts are coming, you start to believe them, right? And I feel like I look like a raccoon. Do you see that? anyway. And so I'm running and running and running inside. So I spoke with my mentor about it because I was just in tears. It's like, I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore, blah, blah, blah. And she put me in touch with a healer. Now, I actually do energy work, vitamin D and energy from the sun. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Now, I actually do energy work. That's my thing, right? As a healer, and we're all healers and coaches in this space. So that's like my sweet spot. That's like my secret sauce, right? But I've never really had it done on me. Okay, I've had other things done, but I never really had someone actually look into me, look inside of my energy fields and work on me. And what an experience it was. And I'm so grateful for that experience because what that has allowed me to experience now is such a gift that I want to share with you. So the way things went, it was an hour and a half session, and she did this virtually, right? And the way things transpired was, she asked me questions, we did the work together, whatever. And I started to cry during the session, let go of emotions, because that's the whole idea behind it. You're letting go of stuck stuff, right? But the interesting thing that I found that I got on that call, one of them was, I felt like the room got brighter during the time that we worked together. So I thought that was interesting. So then what happened 2 days later, because this was on Tuesday, here it is Friday, Wednesday all day, I was pretty much in bed. I got up, did a little bit of something, and then I had no energy to do anything. So I drank, went back to bed. And that's to be expected when you're doing energy work, right? Because the whole idea behind it is you're dislodging stuck patterns, because or stuck things, because emotions are things, thoughts are things, and they cause residue and toxins inside of your body, believe it or not. So my body was too busy trying to move through all that. So I had bowel movements, I had to go to the bathroom, all this was going on. I honored the whole process. I didn't fight it. I didn't push myself. I got to go show up on Facebook. I got to go do this. I didn't do any of that. Now, old Monique would have done that, but I didn't do that. I allowed for the process. And come Thursday, I thought that I'd be over it, because in the past when I had done energy work on myself, it was 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever, but it wasn't nearly as intense as this work that was done. So on Thursday, I took 3 naps, believe it or not. Literally, I slept for 8-9 hours, and then I still had 3 naps throughout the day, if you could believe it. So I pretty much was in bed. And I experienced headaches. I experienced my eye sockets hurting me. I experienced my joints hurting me, but they happened for, moments at a time, then they would pass. And then of course I'm going to the bathroom. So today I wake up and I feel energized. And oh, by the way, I was having, very lucid dreams as well. And, I was just, experiencing the whole thing. But then today I woke up and I felt such a high level of clarity, right? I felt such a high level of energy, such a high level of clarity, such a high level of confidence, such a high level of assurance, such a high level of feeling connected to God in a way that I hadn't before. So it's I always say this, right? Healing occurs in these different layers, and there's, it's like peeling an onion. And it's the work that we did together was powerful work. So it's now it's I'm so championing this type of work for people, because what I had found out through this whole experience was, even though I do this to help people, I had never really had it done on myself. So, and what I mean by that is, yeah, I've seen people, I've had therapists, I've had massage people, I've had work on myself in the name of self-care, in the name of personal development, in the name of growth. But never have I had this level of work that impacted me this way. So I'm not sure. I think it was a combination of the work itself, plus my readiness and my openness to shed what I need to shed and get to my next level. And so I am very, very excited to be back and be strong, and to allow for my greatness, and also to just to be more of myself. One thing she said to me that really stood out, that I want to share to all of you, share with all of you that are watching. She said to me, Monique, I bet you don't talk to your kids the way you talk to yourself. She said, you are so judgmental towards yourself. And I was like, oh my gosh. And even though I'm doing this video now, even me saying a comment oh my gosh, I look like a raccoon, that's judgment. And it just rolls off my throat. So when she said that, it's I said to myself, I don't even recognize that I'm doing it, but yet I'm very aware of how I speak with my kids, how I speak to my husband, how I speak to my clients. I'm extremely aware. And it's oh my gosh. So she basically said, what you thought was self-love really wasn't, you really weren't loving yourself to the level that you need to. So it was just powerful. I mean, it was just, if I was administering that session to someone, I probably more than likely would have been able to see that in someone else. But for someone to see that in me and to call that out for me to help me see that was such a powerful gift. And I feel like there's so many things I can accomplish. I had so many ideas, so many things that I worked through in that was stuck inside of me, inside of my heart, inside of my being, that is now on paper, that I'm just so grateful for. And I committed myself to gifting myself with an opportunity to have something like that. Like we all, if you're going to be a business owner, I think we all need to surround ourselves with people that can see aspects of us and see aspects of our business that we can't see. Like, having a business coach, for me, that's a no-brainer. To have a coach in my life, that's a no-brainer. But to have someone like this, someone who's in a healing capacity to speak to me in this way and see things that I can't see, it's such a treasure. It really is. And, I committed to, I'm going to have someone like this. I'm going to have this person in my life, because, I think I study wealthy people, and it's a difference between rich and wealthy. Like I study, wealthy, like rich people, they talk about things. Like poor people talk about money. Rich people talk about things, but wealthy people, they talk about ideas. And I'm an idea person. And so many ideas came, the connection's breaking up. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to keep going. I could do a camera video if I need to, because I want to share this. And so many people focus on their goals being the money, their goals being the money. And I was that person too for a while, not knowing any better, in my ignorance, because I'm following the gurus, right? In my ignorance, that's what I was thinking. But I find that to be fleeting. I find that to be non-fulfilling. And really, it's the ideas that make things happen. It's the ideas is where things expand, is where you grow. And I have always been this person who would have these ideas, but I would never give them wings to fly, because I would judge them, right? It's like I can look back now and I can see, well, all these different ideas, because part of my recovery period is I wrote down these ideas. What are the things I've been thinking about over the years? What are the things that's been coming up for me, but I have not really given wings? And I wrote those things down. It was like 16 things that would come up. And I looked at that list and it's like, well, why haven't I given these any wings? And then I went through this exercise of which one of these really light me up, And I was able to take some of them off the list, but most of them remained. And I'm like, so why haven't I given these wings? Well, part of my challenge is I was always this person where if I'm not enough, then I got to start off and go do something and be great. Like if I'm not enough, then I got to start over again and be great at this, and this has been my pattern, and she helped me to see that. So I'm grateful for the opportunity, because again, I'm an ideas person, and it's like having an opportunity to really let myself be myself is such a treasure. So I wanted to share with you, Cindy and whoever else is joining, how powerful it is to have people in your life that can see things that you cannot see. And and many times I come on and I share, and I look forward to working with some people in the group. But I can tell you, I'm starting to learn that people really aren't willing to invest in themselves because they don't see value in people being there on their team. And I understand that. And because it really wasn't until I invested in myself at a high level that things start to shift for me. Because I was a course buyer. I was a low dollar, $27 course, whatever. I was that person. And I can tell you all I did was, I consumed it. Unlike most people, I did consume it, but it just caused me to, okay, well, what's next? Like it was like an addiction kind of thing. But when I really invested myself and stepped into a higher level, a higher investment, higher vibration, that's when the magic started to happen for me, where I became more aligned to who I am and allowed myself to step out of my job, to begin to trust God at a different level, to begin to heal in my relationship with my husband, to begin to, heal in my body fully. Like, one of the things I want to share with you as well is I have such a great relationship with food now, and I coveted that for like all of my life. And it's like now I can be around food, I can be around cake, I can be around candy, I can be around whatever, and I'm not moved at all to eat it. And if I do want to eat it, there's no guilt associated with it. I just eat it. And for me, that's like nirvana mentally. It's literally, I'm experiencing heaven on earth, like literally, because it's a mental thing, right? And that came about because I allowed myself to step into a new vibration. One of the things that she said, and I thought was powerful, again, this beautiful, beautiful vessel of healing. She said to me, she quoted, I think it's Einstein that has been credited with saying this, saying that you cannot change a situation from the same place where it was created. What she said, and I completely can understand it, and I agree, was you cannot change a situation from the same frequency in which it was created. You must elevate. And that was such a gift, because that has been my experience, and I found that to be 100% true. So I am back, and you'll probably see less of me in the group, but I'll be more intentional when I share, because my heart really is to serve. My heart really is to hold space for people to grow in their business and in their healing work. But I realize I have to understand truly that loving myself means that it's okay for me to have my ideas and to explore them, and it's okay for me to not make rules around everything, and to be able to just freely be myself. And so I want to be that leader that can demonstrate what that looks like, so that you can also see that you can still create a beautiful life without all these major rules, without all these major guidelines. There's this one woman that's doing really well in her business online. She's a business coach. And I've seen her every day getting up, doing her live broadcast every single day. And she does it like 5 a.m. her time every single day. And I watched her literally burn herself out, bless her heart, till the point where she was in bed, sheets covered, husband had to take over her videos. She has since come back and said, you know what, I'm going to do these like 11 o'clock my time. And they won't necessarily be every day. It's like she's giving herself permission to step into her feminine and understand that she can still have the impact. She can still build her business. She can still do great things in the world without burning herself out. And I realized that even though I'm not working the same type of work I was doing before, but what everything meant to me, what the rules I was giving myself and all of that, I was stepping into burnout. And this healing session allowed me to see it. I'm feeling like I'm getting light and dark here, so we'll work on this lighting. It's downcast here in Houston, so I'm not getting the help of the sunlight. So anyway, I wanted to let you all know that this has blessed me so. And I would also love to offer this blessing to you as well. So I do have healing sessions. So most of the time I am sharing with you an opportunity to work with me in a coaching. I offer high-end coaching where I literally hold space for you, and I offer a 90-day immersion to really help you get a high level of clarity for your business, express yourself, get your voice out there, and give you some simple structures to help you build your business. So that is available, and that is my 90-day Powerhouse CEO immersion. And this is where I'm collaborating with a copywriter and also someone who's really, really great at helping you let go of ancestral things. And what's powerful about that is, at least here in America, where we've been impacted with, the effects of slavery, I myself have gone through several different healing sessions just around releasing some of the ancestral things. And I personally wasn't even enslaved, right? But it was inside of my body. The body does remember. And so doing the work to let go of some of that. Well, this woman that I'm working with, she is steeped in that, but also, I've also met some people whose ancestors were the slave owners. And there's some residual entitlement things and high ego, arrogant things that are there for that. And they're humble enough to admit that and say that they also went through some healing to release some of that in the name of elevating their impact in the world. So this affects not just Black folks, but other people too. So I've collaborated with her to offer services to people that, step into our high-end coaching. But I also offer one-on-one healing sessions in which I do a combination. I call it the Max Method. I do a combination of acupressure, visualization, and deep, deep questioning, because I'm really good at seeing mental blocks. I don't always see mine, right? And I think that's normal, right? I don't always see mine, but I can, as I've been in this space for a while, and as I continue to do the work, I can spot blocks that keep you from elevating. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll put the links, and I'll put the links to both of them so that you all can choose what you want. But really, my heart is to serve. I'm not here to judge anyone. And as I've since learned, I judge myself more than I judge anyone. But I really am here to serve and see mankind elevate. That is my heart. And I will be exploring these other ideas that I've had that I've finally released and will now give some wings to. So I will let you know how things go as I move forward. But definitely, 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 if you all are interested in working with me one-on-one, or even if you just want to have a taste of the work that I do, which I understand, since you don't, we haven't really met. I've met all of you. Try a healing session and see if that resonates with you, see if my vibe resonates with you. And then we can also roll that into a deep immersion. It's up to you, because in the deep immersion, we do quite a bit of healing, and we also do strategy, clarity, and also copy. So totally up to you how you want to do this. I'm going to give you the links. I'm going to give you the link to a healing session. I'm going to give you the link to schedule a time to chat for my high level 90-day immersion. That's my Powerhouse CEO immersion. It's up to you, but the only risk in bondage is breaking free. Absolutely. God bless you. I can't see who said that. If that's Cindy, you are so right. You are so right. And let me tell you, I was nervous as all get out when I first invested in myself. That's because I had such a high poverty consciousness, and I have worked like crazy to let go of that. I was in bondage to the dollar. The dollar was my God, and everything was wrapped around, what was I going to make? What was I going to lose? And I'm so grateful I'm on the other side of that. And people told me life would be sweet on the other side of that. That's what comes up for me. Okay. I totally get that. I empathize with you, my dear Cindy, if you are the one that had this challenge around money. And I can tell you, around us people who have a gift to heal and touch the world, a big thing that we say is, it's wrong for us to be compensated to share what it is that we do. And I always say this to people, I understand that, please understand that the society that we're in has trained us to think wealth is wrong, has trained us to be enslaved to work for other people. So when we get a call, when we get an unction, when we were created and called to do something great, we're not necessarily called to do that working for someone. So then there's the rub, right? Because we've been trained to work for somebody, but we feel on the inside of us to do this great work, we need to come out of that and work on our own. But it's scary, because everything that we've been conditioned to believe tells us that it's wrong to be on our own. Well, but if you think about it, people that are very, very successful, and this, whatever you call successful, These are people that have rebelled against the status quo, because the status quo will only bring you mediocre. That is what it's designed to do. And I can remember when I first decided to invest in myself, my first coach was $10,000, and then I re-enrolled again for another $10,000, so $20,000 in a year's time. And at that time, that was my savings, and I had to go to my husband because I didn't know about empowerment at that time, and at that time, that was our agreement. And I went to my husband and we talked about it, and I promised him I'd make that money back in a year because that was what the marketing promoted and all of that stuff. And that's not what happened. Now, I have all reverence for the process that I went through. But what I didn't understand, which is some of the things I talk about in this sacred space, is I wish they had told me that the reality was I would have to mature. Like, I would have to mature emotionally. I would have to let some things go. I would have to heal. Like, that's all part of the process. Because when you've been grown up in a poverty consciousness, you don't understand how wealthy people function and how they show up in the world. All we understand is what we see on TV and what we see on YouTube. But we don't understand what it feels like to really have money. What we understand is what it feels like to be in fear of losing money. That's what we understand, and we're intimate with that. But we're not intimate with what it feels like to be able to spend money, to exchange money, and have all confidence, 100% confidence that that money's coming back. Like, we don't understand that. When in reality, there's a surplus of money. When in reality, there's a surplus of resources available to us. And you're a free spirit. I am absolutely a free spirit. I do not like people holding me down. As a matter of fact, I'll be honest with you, Cindy, if we're talking, since it's just the two of us, I find it hard to stay focused on one subject like forever. That has been my challenge with in the coaching space, where they say you gotta stay on one subject, and it's like, how can I possibly do that? I mean, I listen to so many different things. I don't just listen to one subject. So but they say you have to niche down, blah, blah, blah. And I understand that from a financial standpoint. I understand it from a commerce standpoint. But from a functioning standpoint and how I show up in the world, that's so challenging. So what I have learned to do, Cindy, as a free spirit, is I've learned to customize my business around what I enjoy, my lifestyle. Like, I have a couch in my office now. That is because I attract free spirits. Absolutely. If you're in this group, you're quite possibly a free spirit. And not only that, Cindy, but it takes a free spirit to be able to be in flow and move as God leads, right? As spirit leads, it takes a free spirit. Someone who has bricks around their legs and needs to have a sense of stability like all the time is not someone who's going to be strong in healing work and healing a lot of people, and impact work, because impact work is being where the people are and being as you're led, right? Be, do, have, being as you're led. So I can completely relate to being a free spirit, and I can tell you it's us free spirits that we're the catalysts. We're the game changers. We're the ones that break the rules. We're the ones that say, no, I don't want to do things that way. I want to do things this way. And we're the ones that adapt, cause people to adapt to new things. We're the ones. So I honor you, Cindy. I honor you and salute you for acknowledging that that's who you are, because that's beautiful. I adore being a free spirit. And my husband's more the stable guy. He's more the structure guy, and he's very grounding and very soothing. I call him my ocean, and I'm like fire. I call him my ocean because he's very grounding, very soothing. My daughter's very grounding, very soothing, and we need that. But I'm like snap, crackle, and pop. I'm ready to go. And so it's important for us to understand who we are, and it's also important for us to understand who we are not, and be accepting and loving towards who we are, and be okay with that. So I salute you. Adapt is the key. So is your husband. So he's like mine. You see what I'm saying? So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I enjoyed you, Cindy. So, but yeah, honey, the only risk in bondage is breaking free, literally, literally. And if you can connect with this idea that we were trained in this consciousness to keep us status quo intentionally, if that sits well with you and that's not too over the top or too woo woo for you, then you can be open to this idea that more is possible for you. Like once you get to that point where that makes sense to you, then you get that more is possible for you, right? And you get to have more. You and your husband, we balance each other out. Beautiful. Yeah, we tend to attract those that can really, be the opposite of who we are. And I used to fight it. I used to fight it thinking I wanted someone who was just as alpha as me and just as snap crackle pop as me. But in reality, sometimes I go to him and just say, I just need a hug. And he's just so soothing, and he's very calming. So that's important. He's like my essential oil, my lavender. So anyway, blessings to you. I'm going to leave the link. I enjoyed chatting with you. And for all of you watching on replay, I'd love to hear your comments, just like like beautiful Cindy shared. Love to hear your comments. And I look forward to working with you. Blessings to you, beautiful ladies. Love you guys. Bye-bye. You had a dream about him before you even met him. How cool is that? Oh, I'd love to hear more about it. Let's chat, Cindy. All right, love. Bye.